Gotta keep it rolling. Sorry.
I know now it's too short. Now it's like, wait a minute. Maybe that's what I'm trying for. I don't know. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night Gig Worker Roundtable. And we have Tom Kelly. We have Acacia's back and Cheyenne's back. And this is the last week Daniel's going to be with us. And we'll get to that too. But I'll tell him again, but I want to thank him for that. Also, thank you all to the live chat. I do want to say one thing before we get into it. I'm dedicating this roundtable episode to a good friend who I learned and got to know as a good friend through YouTube. He was in Chicago, and I thought he was trolling me about 3 years ago. Like, he was leaving 8-paragraph comments on every video, but he had points. And he was listening to my audio podcasting and emailing me pages. This guy was brilliant, but he was before Chat GPT, like almost giving me Chat GPT length answers. Like, dude, what are you doing? And but he was very smart. Ended up that he became a fan, but also a big critic of mine. Like, big. Like, he would say, I think this isn't right. And we would actually communicate and go down that together. And he'd say, yeah, you're totally right on that. And so he was a big critic. He was in Chicago. And I think most of you know I have a friend here, a dear friend known for many years, who has stage 4 cancer and has for about a year and a half. Well, this was a friend from Chicago. His name was David Frey, and we often even talked on the phone. And he passed away, and I knew it. He had stage 4 cancer as well for about the same amount of time as my friend up in the mountain. And I remember when I was young, stage 4 cancer meant you were dead in a week. But both of them had it for a year and a half. And I got a text from his phone from his sister yesterday. How did you know David was, or how do you know David was? Is he a good friend? And I texted her back, and then we actually got on a call. I knew when I saw the text come through what had happened. And I don't know. I just wanted to dedicate this to him because he made me try harder. And actually, episode 227 of the Rideshare Rodeo podcast, he's my guest on the podcast. So if anybody wants to go and listen to it, we actually have a really good conversation about Chicago, its dangers. He knows the city, extremely bright guy. And yeah. So
sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah. You know, it's tough, but you know, I don't know. All the rest of you fall at different ages, except for Tom. Well, I'm putting myself in that group too, but I'm saying, like, don't you remember stage 4 meant go see this person tomorrow, they're dying in 3 days.
Yeah.
It obviously does not mean that anymore, so that's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, rest in peace, David. He really was. And like, he actually started caring about my son. He would ask how Max was doing. And yeah, his sister went to visit him in Chicago and found him in his apartment. Luckily, he had passed away, but it had only been a day, but he was alone in his apartment. So a little sad. But I had to look back, and like 8 days ago, I talked to him. So David, thank you for challenging me and making me a better podcaster, I guess. So I also want to talk about a little bit of this.
Steve, before you go on, speaking of which, we are all curious. How is Max?
Well, yeah, Max joined a frat, quit a frat, has a girlfriend.
Quit a girlfriend.
But there's a lot of terminology I'm learning that I don't even want to share with you. I don't think YouTube would allow what Max has told me in words.
Okay.
I think that it would be better for me to like wave a Nazi flag than to say the words Max has taught me.
Okay.
And the terms they use. I know it all changes with generations, but holy, I mean, like, the things they say seem so out of line to me, and I'm pretty good with out of line. Like, but I'm telling you, like, yeah. But he's doing good. You know, I guess, you know, the real test will be he's going to a harder school. I'm glad he didn't go to CU Boulder. I'm glad he went to CSU because he's a little more focused on what he's doing, and it's not as much the party school. So to him, he's kind of like, dude, I wish there's a little more he's still looking for the party because it's still the beginning of college, but he's finding out what his campus is. So Anyway, let's talk about a few things here tonight. But before we do, I did want to say to Daniel, because and I wanted to show the world this. If you didn't see, we're not even going to talk about it very long, but Kim Kardashian's 12-year-old, this is her. And she let her do this to herself. I'm sorry. This is like, it reminds me of my state and like what our mayor has allowed, the LGBTQ 13 that can take you away from your parents and let you make bad decisions. I don't know. We won't go there. I just found it disgusting.
The worst part of that isn't that she allowed her to do that. It's that other kids are going to see that and be like, hey, mommy, she let her do that.
Yep.
You should let me do that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Wouldn't a kid see this and go, I don't want to do that?
No, because that's they're
It's Northwest.
they're like Idol, right? That's Kim Kardashian's
Northwest.
daughter.
They
Oh,
don't want to do what she does.
She's 12.
13.
I don't know.
You don't remember the whole
Well-
JoJo Siwa thing? Remember when JoJo Siwa was like 12 singing? Every freaking little girl in the world wanted a JoJo Siwa bow. Every single one of them. And those bows were super expensive. I'm serious, dude. Like if somebody tries to do something like the hair and tattoos, people want to, I don't know.
Yeah. But so first, I really wanted to thank Daniel. You guys, if you haven't checked out Daniel, it's the Mad Dasher. He's down in the corner. I mean, I don't know. He's ever since I met him, he's kind of come through for me in a clutch a couple times, and just for asking because we're friends. And I think we did a really interesting podcast together where it was just the two of us once. But so before he's out of here though, I have two questions for him. So I wanted to know the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you during gig work.
I mean, there's different categories.
Well,
was-
if you get one to tell us, so.
All right. Okay. I mean, like the weirdest one was that I got this order and I got to the house and he was one of those houses that has like his grass was like 5 feet tall. Like they didn't take care of their lawn and I still had to bring it to him. It was handed to me, so I couldn't leave it at the door. It might've been an alcohol order. And this like, I think he might've been British. He had some accent. I don't remember. This is a while ago. And he answered the door in his robe. And I have to like get his ID or whatever. Or he was handing me something. And as he was doing it, robe just opened up, ding-a-ling there. And I just pretended it wasn't there. I scanned the ID, was like, all right, man. I don't even remember what he told me, but you know, and I was kind of like laughing about it afterwards. And the girls in my live stream were like, you have to report him. Like if it was a girl, you know, we'd be in a lot of trouble. So it's like, oh, all right. So then I had to call and report him and stuff like that. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry it happened. But yeah, that was one story. That's probably the weirdest out of all. I've also seen people fight each other through car windows while I'm live streaming and delivering. So a lot of weird stuff happens.
Says Balloon Gate.
Balloon Gate was that. So that's where.
And Deb coming in hot.
Yeah, Balloon Gate was terrible, delivering all those balloons, and then as I'm delivering them, I had to go stop off at Macy's and get a shirt because that, you know, those two orders make all the sense in the world. And then I saw some guy as I was at a light, and he's like yelling at this other dude, and then all of a sudden I see him running over, and the truck is at a stoplight. This guy runs over from Yard House and starts punching him through the window and then casually walks away, and the guy drives away. I was like, did that just happen? I was already freaking out at this time because I had 100 balloons in my car. And I ended up bringing the balloons to this person's house who wasn't there. And so I couldn't leave the balloons in their house. And it was a windy day. And one of the bags of balloons flew like to the side, and they had like a thorny bush over to the side. So I have my live stream. My girlfriend saved this video. She brings it up all the time. She just cracks up. My live stream was facing the front of the car. So all you saw was just me running with a bag of like 50 balloons after another bag of balloons that's flying away. And then this order was supposed to be a 2-person order. And so I took what I thought was a good amount of balloons. I was helping him out. The other guy comes and it was this Asian dude in this small car. He brings one balloon, and he just leaves it on the porch, doesn't tie it down, doesn't contact the customer. And I'm like, you just brought one balloon, dude? He's like, yep. Puts his sunglasses down, goes in his car. I was like, are you kidding? Like, I just went through hell to bring these 2 full bags of balloons. My whole car's like full of stuff. And I had to call the customer because windy. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, should I tie this down to chairs or something? And like, yeah, we'll be there soon. That was the worst order of my entire life. It took hours. It was terrible. I'm so glad that Party City shut down. But yeah, that was Balloon Gate. That was part of Balloon Gate. But yeah, it was a bad day.
I mean, dude, it's if all he took was one and you got the rest, obviously they didn't do their dimensions right. You could have had the whole order.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of, so like I left a lot of the balloons there. So
okay.
He decided to take one. So they were like, I took like the bulk of like the smaller balloons, like the like circle ones. And then they had these like big ones, like a giraffe, and like it was like a safari theme. It's like giraffe and like, you know, a zebra, and like there was a bunch of balloons. He could have taken them. He just had to put it in his car. He took one of them and left the other ones, and he didn't care. So I called support and I told them, I was like, just make a note. If the customer complains about this, I'm not like, you got to take the bad review off because I went above and beyond and this other dude did nothing. I was screaming that. I thought I was going to have a heart attack that day. That was a bad day. Yeah.
So here's my other one, because I know this is something that, like me, you go down some rabbit holes with this stuff on your own. This has nothing to do with gig work, so let's just make it quick. But if you could, what conspiracy out there would you want all the details to? If you could have all of them and know every truth.
Oh, that's a super hard question, dude. I mean, I
know.
I mean, probably the pyramids. You know, only because I know that with the recent scans of the pyramids, and we know that there's stuff down there. I just feel like they've been hiding. You know, Egypt has made it so that no one can do anything with that, you know, purposely for decades. And I know that they're hiding stuff. I would say that I would really like to find out what this 3-eye atlas is, though, because it's the whole fact of the Harvard scientist saying that, like, you know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have a tail like it normally does. It's emitting light from the front. And that the fact that a Harvard scientist is saying this is a very likelihood of this being a spaceship, that fascinates me. And then I would also like to know about the moon landing, because I know that shit's fake. We didn't go to the moon. I would like to have that information, so then every single person I've had a conversation with proving to them that the moon landing didn't happen, I could be like, look, see, I was right. You were all wrong.
There's actually a really excellent movie that's really accurate that came out recently. Scarlett Johansson was in it, and Channing Tatum, I think. It actually did it really well.
It was great. Fly Me to the Moon or something. That was a great movie. Yeah.
Good.
All right. So hopefully we'll have a time and we'll squeeze this in. Optimization rate. I want to talk about that because I had this thing on Twitter, and everybody's idea of this is just different. But first, let's start off here, because this week started off with it. I think it's pretty important to just life, but also even it's gig app related in that it is. Tom's going to walk us through this one, the Amazon AWS, and what was going on with all this, because I've heard a couple reports, I've read a couple articles that have kind of alluded to the fact that something we already know, that's, you know, hey, this one company isn't going to be able to handle all this. Like, we got to start having more companies. And like I've said, the cost of data is going up. The cost of, you know, these centers is going up. And
so as somebody who, for those of you who followed me for a while, may or may not know that I ran the radio station, tncradio.live, ran that over AWS. So I was a big proponent and big user of AWS. We did have a short outage in December of 2001, but it was by moving from my home studio to AWS. was very happy that I was now with set up someplace where I would not ever have my radio station go down. That would not have been true on Monday. Monday at 2 a.m. Eastern time, I'm sorry, 2 a.m. my time, so it'd be 3 a.m. Eastern time, AWS went down and took with it dozens and dozens and dozens. Let's see, Ring went down. That's how I knew, because an alarm set that if my Ring alarms go down, I'm notified about that. So I got that alarm, and then everything else went down. I'm a big user of, I'm not going to say her name because she's sitting right next to me, so I'm going to call her Amanda instead of the other name. Amanda was down. My TVs were down. Everything went down. Chime was down. Reddit was down. Venmo was down. And for a little while, not for real long, Uber and Lyft were both down. They came up early in the morning. However, for those of you who use the Uber card, you may have seen that it didn't work right all of a sudden. And so for several hours, it didn't work. And it was a crazy, crazy day, all day Monday. It wasn't until 5 p.m. Central Time that they finally announced the all clear. It was closer to midnight until all of the apps were back up and running, because what this did, and for those of you who do the technical stuff, the DNS was down. So the DNS is what gets you from, like, right now you're in youtube.com. That translates to an IP address. The DNS is what lets you do that. The entire DNS database was lost for quite a while. And so all of these different servers could not be found unless you happen to know the DNS, the IP address off the top of your head, which, interestingly enough, when using AWS, is actually dynamic. So it can change from day to day. And so for a lot of the way the apps were set up, so it wouldn't have mattered if you did know the number, you still couldn't get there unless you just happened to luck into it. But it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I had several people who were in my car that day who were like, I can't get to my money, because they don't do normal banking. They do Chime and Venmo and that kind of stuff. They don't have the resources, if you will.
But they could call an Uber.
Not for a little while, but after a while they could.
So Uber was accessing their bank.
No, Uber was accessing a card that they use. So okay, so they're not accessing their bank; they're just So you can buy a Visa card at Kroger and use that for your Uber card. Sure.
No, I'm just saying.
So, yeah,
it was like one by one. I saw somebody talking about I think a lot of Venmo. I opened Venmo and it had only the first 2 weeks of my Venmo transactions from 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was here's your recent transaction. I'm like, what? It wasn't even just down. It was just this mess.
Yeah. One of my guys who I picked up owed somebody $65 or something like that. And apparently this was somebody he was concerned about paying late. He needed to pay off some football debts or something. And you don't pay this guy late. That's what he was telling me. So he always pays him via Venmo, but he couldn't pay him because of all this that was going on. So he had to do essentially a $30 Uber ride to pay another guy off $65 so he didn't get beat up by this guy's associates.
Okay, but so how you said that this sucks, this could have been much worse. Much worse.
Oh, the whole idea, this, I've said this many times, and I've worked with Fortune 500 companies all over the nation, and they worry about the hurricane, they worry about the earthquake, they worry about all these things that, yeah, okay, they could happen. It is much more likely, folks, that one day we're going to wake up and there's no internet and it's not going to be there for a week or a month. And then what are you going to do? And you can't get your money out of the bank because the only way to get it is to go stand in line and go inside and prove that you have an account. And because they're not going to have internet either. And this isn't a, oh, yeah, right, Tom, that might happen. This is going to happen someday. And we have a great conversation the next Thursday night about, well, how did it impact it? I mean, it's going to go down like 9/11 or the Kennedy assassination. Everybody's going to remember where they were the day the internet stopped.
I was watching a story the other day that was on the water from somewhere in Massachusetts, like where these guys are from, at their neck of the woods. And it was like, it wasn't a mainstream one either, but it provided to an entire city. The city had a population of like 15,000, and they were like 30 seconds away from being hijacked and poison leaked into the water. When their instruments went off that are supposed to get you like an hour notice, they went off like 30 seconds in advance, and they actually had to go manually shut things down.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, just the idea that the internet goes down depending on where you live and how your power distribution's set up and everything. Could be that your power has to go out too.
See, and I know, here we go. We're going to spin on a little tangent here because I know Mad Dasher has a theory about cryptocurrency. I think that's something that you should at least be weighed into somewhat. But power goes down. I don't know what happens there either.
Well, they have technology now that you can have a wallet with crypto on it, and you can transfer to somebody else's wallet without the need of internet.
Really?
Yeah. We're going a digital way, and there's going to be ways to be able to transfer some kind of monetary funds from one person to another that isn't gold. China has been hoarding gold. They have been buying the most gold that they've ever bought in the last like couple months in all of history. They think everything's going the gold standard. Trump is talking about making United States crypto capital. It's going away from the dollar regardless. And, you know, obviously the internet going down would be a big problem for money, but I think it'd be a bigger problem with the fact that like martial law would come into effect and people would just start killing each other. I think the internet down is more of like an apocalyptic scenario, and the chances of that happening.
Well, a grid down is an apocalyptic scenario.
Well, that's the only way the internet would go down, though, is if the whole grid would go down, because it's not AWS going down and not having the domain name services up. That's one thing, but I'm talking about like everything going down, because like the internet's not going to go down unless everything goes down. It's just not possible. We have too many servers in different areas. We have private servers. We have billionaires with their own servers. There's going to be a way to get the internet back up in a timely manner. A week is bad, but the only way that it's going to happen is if the grid goes down, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's more dangerous than that. And as somebody who absolutely loves conspiracy type stuff, we ought to talk offline sometime, because I think it would freak you out to know just how casually some of the stuff's been put together. I mean, it really is.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have a bachelor's in information security systems, and I've been a tech for 12 years. So I know how bad things are as far as the structure of how we have it set up and how delicate it is. So I totally agree with you. I'm not, no part of me is disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that the only way the internet in its entirety, because you said the whole internet going down, the only way that happens is if the grid
goes down for a particular country. We'll get into it some other time. I want to leave on a funny note, though. Okay, Steve. Imagine if you had spent the $5,000 on your 8 Sleep smart mattress. You got the California King. It sets it up. It can be 55 degrees on your side of the bed and 110 on your wife's side of the bed. And your side can be up a little bit, and her side can be way up. You can have your knees one way, your ankles another way, and a $200 per year subscription, because 8 Sleep mattresses are being rolled out to hotels all over the world. And so you can check into your hotel, log into your mattress, and it will automatically set up for what it knows is the way you like it. Well, unfortunately, when AWS went down the other night, apparently 8 Sleep mattresses use AWS to keep track of all this stuff. And suddenly in the middle of the night, people had their beds going from 55 to 110. They were laying flat down, and then they're sitting straight up. It was hard, now it's soft. Many users reported that they had to sleep on the floor because of the discomfort caused by the malfunctioning beds. Mario Fraticini, something like that, the CEO, said he acknowledged there were some issues, apologizing for the inconvenience. He stated the company is working on outage-proofing their technology to prevent similar incidents in the future. Full functionality of the affected mattresses restored by 10 p.m. the same day. Well, when it starts at 2 a.m. and it's not fixed till 10 p.m., I'm not happy with that. It's like, oh, okay, well, you got it fixed in 12 hours, that's, or 14 hours.
I'm now thinking the whole thing happened to prove how, like, as a slap to anybody that uses that stupid app and that stupid thing. Like,
I thought you were
don't
selling
need to
me
check
a bed.
into a hotel and put your bed number, and they have enough information on you. Like,
Could you imagine? You spent $5,000 on this California King mattress, and it's
and
like
you're stupid.
knocking you up out of the bed, and suddenly you're 110 degrees. And I mean,
And don't forget the $200 a month.
Yeah, plus the $200 a month. Yeah.
That's
What
like a
about
Waymo car delivering food, man.
What about those fridges? You guys seen those fridges? You can buy a fridge for like $3,000 and it has a little TV on the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
And Samsung has said that they're going to start rolling out more advertisements for the betterment of their customers, because they think it's going to be a good thing if you can see things you can buy for your house. So it's a mandatory thing. Like they force you buy a $3,000 fridge where you want to look up your little Facebook and stuff on the TV. But no, in the middle of you in your fridge looking at Facebook, it forces you to watch an ad on your freaking refrigerator. Are you kidding? You spent $3,000 for that thing, and it's going to force you to watch an ad.
I was wondering when they were going to start that, though, because it is prime real estate for them, right? And they have access to it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, you're talking to it. You're adding to your list. They've been increasing the smart technology of fridges for a while. In fact, I was going to tell you guys in 2020 when the California fires were happening and they were evacuating all of like Napa Valley and up there and Sonoma. My buddy owns a consulting company for computers in Sonoma, and he works over in Napa too. And he said that as soon as everybody was force evacuated from the Napa homes, that like a third of them were robbed through their smart fridges.
no.
Like hackers had got in and said, unlock the door.
What?
And the fridge was unlocking the door for him.
No.
And that's 2020, you guys.
Oh man.
This is-
I would never buy a smart appliance. It's so stupid.
Oh my gosh.
You won't have a choice eventually. That's all that will be out there. Will be these smart
Fuck that.
appliances.
I'll get a box with some dry ice in it. I don't give a shit.
If that ends up happening, then whoever makes like a vintage refrigerator company, like, hey, you can buy like how we used to have it back in the day. You remember fridges back in the day were like tanks, like they and they wouldn't break. They would last forever, and they were just awesome. They had all these cool features. Dude, just open one of those, and you'd sell out because no one would want it. Everyone would get sick of it, and then that business. We're gonna go round circle. So we're gonna get to that place where like everything needs to be digital. Everyone needs to get that new thing, and then everyone's gonna get fucking sick of it, and then everyone's gonna come back. Just how like vinyls are cool now. Like we're gonna come full circle.
So Detroit should. I'm from Michigan. Detroit should stop trying to get back into the damn motor industry. They should start building old time fridges, like the kind that locked your kid in. And your kid died.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, a nuclear bomb might be
those
coming
Detroit
soon.
steel like fridges. Like, screw you, man. I'm a bad parent. I don't care.
Every room has a fridge, so then if the nuclear bomb comes, you just go inside the fridge. You'll be okay.
Right.
Forget about a bomb shelter, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a cheaper bomb shelter for today's middle class.
Exactly.
And that, on another note too, I don't need to add my shopping list to my fridge. Like, and I don't want my fridge greeting me when I come home. I really don't. Like, that would be very.
It's creepy.
Steve, you're low on milk. We're going to have to order you more milk, and you've only got 2 slices of cheese left.
Because it like scans your fridge, right?
I'd be on Facebook Marketplace being loud ass fridge for sale. Just come take it away.
It's okay, Steve. Eventually, everyone's going to have robots that are going to be doing that for them. So,
True.
So Steve, on Monday, I also had a girl who, she said, oh, I see you worked in IT. I said, yeah, I did that for about 40 years. She said, I work in IT. I said, oh yeah, what do you do? She said, I'm a test driver for Waymo and other products like that. And she said, do you know they're lying? And I said, would you like to be on a podcast with us and tell us about your experience? And I said, you don't have to put up, we could even just like fake your name and do it. And she's like, yeah, I think I want to do that. So I haven't heard back from her, but that's what I was calling you about on Monday, was because she was in my car. I'm like,
yeah, I've by the way, I mean, I had Cruz on. I've approached Waymo. They've just straight up told me no. And they talked to Harry. They know who I am. So they just were like, not on your show, bro. Like,
how does that qualify as IT if she's a test driver?
It doesn't,
because they have engineers in the car sometimes.
Yeah, so she's an engineer.
She's in IT because
is she an engineer?
Is she an engineer?
Yes.
Well, I mean, like when I was in Vegas in one, there was a control driver, and then there was an engineer in the passenger seat up front.
Right.
They were running all kinds of tests.
She's an engineer, and she's doing all these testing and everything. Then she turns in and says it sucks, and then the company comes out and says it's working great.
Yeah.
And so
I'm surprised she was that verbal with you, man.
Oh, she told me everything, man. It was great.
Pull that dash cam footage and be like, never mind, we don't need you to come on. I got it all right here.
Well, she's missing now, though, right? You haven't heard from her? Did the company overhear your conversation?
Ever since I dropped her off.
Exactly. They tapped into the dash cam and they're like, kill her.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Tell the Whammo, bring her somewhere isolate, leave her there.
Yeah, I've been calling it Wayne. No.
Well, they had the first.
They hide all these cars, and I mean, it is amazing how to get in there. I mean, because I had to take her back in there, and to get in there, you would never go down the street. I would have never gone down the street. It's just like a stupid alley, and you make this left hand turn, right hand, and then all of a sudden, here's like every one of the Waymo cars. It's just laid out there.
Yeah.
You heard that Waymo killed somebody, right? They killed their first pedestrian not long ago.
Yeah.
And they have a scandal going on in a probe in Atlanta right now for almost taking out a school bus while the stop things were on. And you should hear their story on that. But
all right,
yeah, I want to move. I want to move on to this because we've seen this before. I know Tom and I have discussed these kind of things. It started in California, but it's going to be elsewhere. So Casey is going to talk to us about this Uber EV switch. And so green is gone. It's now electric. And I don't know, Casey, you want to break this down for us? Because I've heard this before.
Yeah,
years ago, I mean.
It's kind of hysterical. And yeah, they did attempt to do something similar, I guess, in 2020. And now they're setting another goal for 2030 to have all of Uber be green and electric. Which is the way they're doing it is kind of ridiculous. So they're trying to incentivize drivers by offering them $4,000 bribe to switch to an EV, which even with that, how many of us can afford that, for one? But I guess that they want to convince all of us somehow by 2030 to convert. So there's a few, I know personally, there's a few problems with this because I recently, how many of you have actually driven an electric vehicle or a Tesla or something? Out of curiosity, you haven't? You have? Tom? Okay. So it's actually like, it's not what you'd expect. For one, it's like driving a rocket ship, so it's cool and all. But for one, they're incredibly expensive. And I don't know if you know this. We rented one for a week while we were in California on our honeymoon. And charging, it takes like from 0 to 60, full charge takes about 45 or so minutes to an hour. And that's a Tesla, like a good Tesla, a new one with a Tesla charger. So like 45 minutes to an hour to charge to full when you've run out. And only the really good models have really good battery life. So
I was gonna say we have two kinds here too. We have supercharge and normal charge.
we use the supercharge. Like
Okay.
legit, we had to like charge up every morning, like without fail, every morning while we went out for breakfast, because conveniently there was a Tesla charger right near the breakfast place we were going to. And otherwise we couldn't, do the traveling around we were going to do. So I'm just like, that alone, I'm wondering, even if people took the bribe and converted to EV to do, gig work, we do so much driving a day. Would we have to recharge every day, possibly multiple times a day, and sacrifice that time?
Yes.
Apparently, too, this incentive is only offered in certain states. Was it Massachusetts, Colorado, California, and New York? Of course, the four most liberal states where they have the most EVs and probably the most infrastructure. But even in California, where the infrastructure is supposed to be really solid, it actually isn't. We almost didn't make it back to our hotel during one of our day trips because we drove for miles and miles and without passing a charger. So they just don't have the longevity and the reliability yet compared to a gas vehicle. So
there's a few flaws there. Number one, I need to at least, because my state's blue and it's got some problems. But Colorado, we got a lot of the polar opposites too. So we got a decent amount of Teslas, not a ton of electric. But then we got people who are like, yeah, my truck gets set 6 miles to the gallon. I'm going to run your Tesla over. We have the polar opposite of a Tesla driver, and they will drive that till the day they die. They don't care. So, and there's definitely more of that. There's more people going up into the mountains, trucks, things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe some people have made the move to hybrid, but other than that, you only see Teslas. I don't see electric other here. But the other problem I have with it is that, like I was saying, I know Tom and I, shortly after the 2020, we're probably still talking about that incident. We've seen these and then pulled away. There's no way that if I went into, I don't trust Uber. I wouldn't go do this transaction, even if I had the blueprint of how I get my money. I wouldn't do it because I don't think I'm going to be honest here. I don't think you're going to get paid. I don't think you'll get your $4,000.
So let's say you get your $4,000. Okay. That will not. So my house was built.
But even that, you're not gonna. That's my point. You're not gonna.
Even if they give you the 4,000, my house was built in 1974. My electrical system cannot handle the supercharge that Casey was just talking about. It can't. I have to completely redo my box and everything. It would be $5,000 or $6,000 just to put in the right kind of charger that doesn't take all night to charge.
Yeah, otherwise you have to rely on local chargers at stations wherever they may be. You have to rely on there to be enough of them, and they're frankly,
and you have to pay for that.
Yeah, and you have to pay for it.
So, and this is the part that people say, oh, that's a lie. It's not true. I swear to you, this is true. We can do the math. It's not hard math. If we all put in the chargers, do you know what would happen to the Texas? I don't know about California and New York.
I was just going to say we're right back to the grid.
Take the Texas grid. The Texas grid is gone. There's no possible, if we all went to electric tomorrow.
Can you imagine the East Coast? Like the West Coast would have its issues too, but 80% of the population lives east of the Mississippi.
It will be trillions of dollars before our grids are set up to handle what they say we're going to be doing in the next 10 years. Trillions of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, where I am, seeing any kind of EV charger, it's like seeing like a deer. Like it's like, oh, don't scare it away. You never see those. Like there's literally none here. None. I don't know how I would even physically do it.
It's because everyone's living in a bubble. I talk to my mom about this all the time, about how in certain states, you mentioned how that's like the 4 most liberal states. I live in Massachusetts and we see them everywhere. There's chargers everywhere, and they always have the best freaking spot in the mall, the best freaking spot in the restaurant, like even closer than handicap in some situations. And these people that are talking about, like, we have to have EVs for everybody, they live in these states. So they're living in this bubble, thinking that like everything else is set up the exact same way. Not to mention Massachusetts is super freaking rich. They have so much money. So it's not the same comparing Massachusetts to Kentucky or something like that, where like it's two different worlds. We're not going to have it. It's just, and like you said about the grid going down stuff, like this is why China's ahead of us right now, because they have been spending it over the decades. They take their money and they reinvest it in their freaking environment. That's the reason all their buildings are lit up and they have all these electric cars, is because they have so many solar panels everywhere. They're like electricity there is completely run different. Here we tried to do these stupid windmills, which were the worst idea in the entire freaking world. Everybody knows it, and I don't understand why people can't admit it at this point, that those are the stupidest thing that we've ever had invented ever. And they don't want to put solar panels everywhere. So like, dude, I don't see it
we
ever
have a
happening.
farm outside of Boulder, right where the mountains come down. And when the wind is too strong, which is often here, when it's because we'll get gale force sometimes over 80 up to 100 mile an hour. That Longmont Airport had some planes flipped a few years back. But when the wind gets too high, they turn them off. So on top of everything else, they can't even handle high wind.
Think about that. Too much wind. We have to shut off our wind fucking thing, dude. Like, are you kidding? That's like shutting off your solar panels.
And then they run on batteries. And I mean, I'm talking like they run on batteries. They were wasting a ton of battery. But then where they do have a flock that works just north of me in Cheyenne, Wyoming, it's known as not the bird killer, the flock killer. Any bird flock that tries to make it through that wind pass by I-80, the whole flock dies.
Yeah, exactly. And like the ridiculous thing is, like, obviously the infrastructure, we need to put so much money into that, and people need to want to put money into the infrastructure, and it needs to be done obviously across the country. Otherwise, it's not feasible. But like solar, there's so much, like if you just fly over the US, which I've done a few times, there's so much dead, empty land that gets nothing but sun. And it's not being used for cropland. It's not being used for roads or anything. They could fill those fuckers with solar panels and power the US. They haven't yet. So obviously all the money is going elsewhere. So
that's the main problem. All our money goes elsewhere, not to America. That's the problem.
Yeah. I saw
no one wants to admit it though, and that's another problem.
in Germany, they have a thing, and you might think maybe this is one of those like things that doesn't do much, but if like you live in an apartment, they have a thing that you can roll over your balcony of your apartment, and it's solar panels, and it's enough to power your main room. You plug it into the main room, and it powers the main room. And then when you move, you just roll it back up and take it off. It's yours.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, like, why don't we have that? We don't even have that.
We don't have anything, dude. Anything, bro. And I think it's the most like ironic thing that all these people are like, we need to be green, we need to do this, but we don't do anything. We don't do anything, dude.
That's pretty sad.
We don't even try.
No, I know we don't even try. The turbines were always a money grab, in my opinion. It was always about money. Lots of people made a shit ton of money with those things. It was never about the Green Deal. I mean, how can you look at those things and be like, yeah, we're saving the environment?
I've went to the Boulder wind turbine farm, and it's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you do see the big masses of them, most of the time they're not running. By the way, I'm just letting you know. Most of the time you're going to see them, they're just shut down.
Yeah. Yeah. California has more oil derricks than it has, windmills or solar farms or anything. Plenty of grass-fed cows, loaded with grass-fed cows, and orange trees, but not very much in the way of like practicality. It's all just, I don't know what the fuck they're doing to their state. They have so much land and they could do so much good with it. And if you ever like drive through it, most of it's actually pretty disgusting looking and just devoid. Like, I'm not kidding. It's all oil derricks. Like
California, you got to work on that I-5 drive. It's just sad.
A great show. If you guys haven't seen it, Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. He talks about the oil industry and the turbines, and oh man, the writers of that show hit it on the nail on the head. And Billy Bob is phenomenal in that show.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the second season.
I know. Let's get on this.
So,
Man.
yeah. So I don't know. I was seeing what Chris had put above too about the, if you don't have a Tesla owns the majority, but I don't even know. I barely see any of the non-Tesla chargers. Sometimes, like in a city building, I'll see one next to 4 Tesla chargers or something, but
yeah, not here, but I've seen a few different. And that was, oh my god, like the people explaining to me like, oh, you have a Tesla and you only have an adapter for this kind of charger, so you can't use that kind of charger. Like, what? I have an electric vehicle and I can't use all the chargers. They're all the chargers are exclusive to a certain car. What? Like, and people want us to buy these things? What?
I mean, at some point, like even so, like this comment just made by, because it is funny, but at some point we all have to realize this is how the rest of the world sees us. Look at these idiots. They have wind turbines, but if there's too much wind, they turn them off.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
I mean, do you think that I don't care who's in charge of what? Do you not think they just look at us and go, you guys are dumb?
We are. We are so dumb.
That for a lot of other things too.
The other thing I don't understand why we don't have, like you were talking about the whole thing you drop over the sun collecting.
Yeah.
The other thing that I don't understand why we don't have more of, and China has a lot of this, is the ground that you walk on. And when I went to Yosemite with my girlfriend, they had one of these things in one of their centers or whatever. And when you walk on it, it presses down a thing and it starts creating electricity. And every time people walk on it, so there's lots of streets all over China that, like, when people walk on it, they're just making electricity from all the people walking on the street. Like, why don't we have stuff like that? Why doesn't that exist? Like, it's in the national park in America. Why is it not like in malls? Like, why aren't we like?
That should be a gig app, dude. I just walk around all day and collect credits.
I mean,
count your steps.
Walk my 50 miles, man.
But like we're not doing anything. That's like how you were talking about California or whatever, and like some areas look like shit, but they have so much money. Like they're the biggest ecosystem like in all of America, pretty much, and they're not doing anything with this money. The money is just going to people. And these people are just buying $1 million mansions and complaining that they don't have enough money. You get so much money. The taxpayers in California pay like 50 to 60% at this point. They're paying ridiculous amounts of money, and they haven't even dropped their gas prices or anything. Why aren't we doing stuff, man? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't understand either. I guess the bottom line is I think we've all just agreed we're not the superpower anymore.
Oh, we're a joke, man. Like we like need to spend all this money building like robots to wipe our ass and like study transgender frogs. I don't fucking know, but we can't like improve our infrastructure. Like, what are we doing?
I know. I mean, even Cheyenne is laughing, and she's like, finally our time has come, because we've laughed at Canada for too long. And now they're laughing at us.
No, they're not, dude. Canada's just as fucked, dude. What are you saying, man? Canada's in rough.
Well, Cheyenne is in Canada.
Dude. Are you?
So
well, then you can probably you can probably
Canada
agree,
has its own issues.
Yeah, different issues.
But
different
you guys,
issues.
It's different issues. But honestly speaking, we are looking at you guys like, what's going on?
I'm sure.
Like, really,
for
what's going on over there?
Certain topics, the whole world is.
Yeah. And we're kind of like, we're too close. Like, we would love some distance, because it's But Canada has its own issues. That is 100% for sure.
Yeah. So that leads us into this. Cheyenne has a story, and if I have a way to blend in either of these other two, but this one alone might take us through the rest of this. It's related to Doordash, so you guys will all be able to understand. You might have even heard this, but even sexual harassment, recording. I don't know. This is a weird story. If you haven't, heard
that Daniel just spoke about, right? Like when he was talking about his weird encounter, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of like the story that I'm going to talk about." But there's this girl in New York. They don't really specify where. She just says when she's talking about the police, she said in New York State, so she didn't say where she lives. But she was doing a DoorDash order, and it was a leave at door. So typical leave at door. You go, you drop it down, you take a picture, and you go about your way, right? Well, this time it was a little bit different. She went to go drop off the order, and there's two different stories. She says that the customer's door was wide open, the light was on inside, ceiling fan was going, and he was passed out, asleep, drunk, who knows, on the couch with nothing on up, like lower part of his body. So everything was pulled down to his ankles. So what would you do if you went to drop off an order? Because I will tell you what she did, but I want to know, what will you do? And everyone in the chat too.
Was it a meet at the door or leave at the door?
No, it was a leave at the door.
So then how did she see in, like,
she said that it was
in the house.
She said the door was wide open.
So breaking and entering.
Why would you go in?
She didn't go in per se.
She went in a
I
little.
don't know. I would have left the bag and walked away immediately without even investigating anything. I don't. The door being open, that's fucking sketch, dude. I'm putting the thing down and I'm walking away.
That is totally sketchy. Like,
I'm potentially calling the police. Unless I have a Sharpie on me, then we're gonna have some fun.
I don't know. I always feel weird. Like, if you are like you have to like walk by someone's window. Sometimes you have to like kind of do that to get to a certain door. Yeah. If they say like leave on the side door, you're like walking by windows. I never look inside. I feel fucking sketch doing that. I don't. My eyes are right to that door. I leave it down. I take a picture within a half a second. Even as I'm walking away, I'm taking a picture and I'm gone. That's because I'm trying to hustle. I'm trying to make a lot of money. I don't want to spend a lot of time there. But two, I'm not trying to look at somebody's window while I'm standing there. And if she looked inside that place, I don't know, dude. She put herself in that situation.
Here's what she did. She recorded the customer. Yes. She recorded the customer, and then she went and she posted it saying that she was essayed. I don't know how YouTube is, so I'll just say essay.
She plastered his dick all over TikTok.
What a sociopath, dude.
Yes. So she said that she was essayed at work, and she posted the video, and TikTok obviously took down the video. She reposted it again and censored certain parts. Yes. And then the story gets better. It gets better. Okay. So after she did this, people were like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, imagine if that was somebody else, or like that he actually like got up and did something. Like, you weren't supposed to be seeing that. You didn't consent to seeing that, and all this kind of stuff, right? So people were saying you should call the police about it. So she wasn't sure what the laws are in New York for that. And she also wasn't sure what DoorDash's policy was about this. So she decided to report it to DoorDash, saying that she was essayed. So she made multiple videos about this. Okay. So one video, she said she's waiting to hear back from DoorDash. It had been 12 hours, and she's reported other less serious incidents, which is weird to me because I've never had to report an incident. So why have you had to report like other incidences? But whatever.
She's a scammer.
Like, seriously. So she's reported other minor incidences, and they got back to her within like an hour or two. This time it had been 12 hours and she heard nothing. So because everyone told her that she should contact the police, she contacted the non-emergency line. They sent over a police officer. And when the police officer got there, he looked at the video. He asked her all her questions. He was like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to press charges? And she said, well, if I can, I guess. So he went to the car. He came back and told her, I don't believe that we can press, like, that you can press charges, because he was in his home. Like, he didn't come to the door with like dressed like that. He didn't come to the window. He didn't talk to you, like nothing. He was in his home. So she waited, and then she got deactivated from DoorDash.
Good. Fuck her.
And she went on TikTok screaming, crying, saying that she got deactivated from DoorDash. Now, mind you, when I saw this first story, that was the video I saw. Her saying that she got deactivated from DoorDash because she spoke about an SA situation and they're not doing anything about it. So I was like, what? I sent it to Steve. I was like, check with Legal Rideshare. Maybe they can help you. And then I started looking at the other videos and I'm like, delete that comment. Like, where is that comment that I left? Because she said DoorDash didn't tell her why she was deactivated, even though she tried to contact them many times. She had a few conversations with different support agents and they weren't able to tell her. She didn't get the email saying why she was deactivated either. So she appealed, like in the app, and they refused it and said, no, you can like try to, go against our denial in the email that you received, which she never received. DoorDash made an official statement on their TikTok about this. Now, this is where, like, you got to realize DoorDash made a statement on their TikTok about this.
I was just going to say, of all places, why
huge.
TikTok? Yeah.
Well, because she did the video on TikTok.
But they don't do official statements.
Blowing up. But they don't do official statements like this. But it was blowing up. People were canceling their DoorDash accounts. Like on that video that I tagged Steve, people were saying, delete DoorDash, delete DoorDash. I'm deleting DoorDash. So obviously they had to react.
I'm so sick of this culture, dude.
Seriously, they said in their statement, the reason why she got deactivated is because she showed the customer's private like information body and also like where he lives on social media, and that's not okay. It's true. It goes against our contract, right?
She also broke in his home, and
well, there's another video that shows that she actually pushed open the door.
That's still breaking into the house.
That's fucking ridiculous. Do you know what makes me so angry about this story, though, is that this really brings a bad look towards like women that have actually been essayed, that actually need to have help and to have like media against them and stuff. This stupid bitch is like making it seem like women are like just going to take advantage of any scenario they can. Try to have a lawsuit against some guy and just like ruin their life over nothing. She went out of her way to do this because she's a scammer and she makes every other woman that has had a problem with this look bad. And it's
exactly.
I hate that kind of stuff, man.
That's what was frustrating.
Yeah, she also makes women in general, not just even related to like, SA, but like in general, she makes us all look like freaking like we're looking for a guy to screw over. Like, I promise you, men, we are not all looking for a guy to screw over. Some of us would just be like, that's none of my business, and I'm just going to peace out. Like,
exactly.
Like, what the hell was she? Yeah, she broke the law. She entered his house without permission.
Yes.
She recorded him nude and, like, shared all kinds of his personal
that guy should sue her.
He is. That's what Bubba Sue just said.
She should go to jail. Like, that's messed up. Oh, she did?
But that's not Bubba Sue's saying it right now.
Posted it on TikTok.
Oh, he is suing her
too. Come on, like you don't do that. Even if that's what happened, you don't post the person afterwards.
No,
she just ruined that guy's life, dude.
Yes,
that guy's life is done, dude. He's forever gonna be known as pantsless DoorDash guy.
Exactly. Yep. And she was like being all upset because she's like, I have money in the account. I was working when they deactivated her.
I'm the victim.
Anyway, she got her money. Yeah, exactly. She got her money, which, okay, cool. But I don't know. There were so many things wrong with that whole thing. Like now people are doing skits. Like I'm seeing lawyers doing videos, chiming in, saying like what she did wrong, dude, and what legal things she went against.
See again how sad our economy is. We have to teach people this. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Do not go into somebody's house, videotape them, put it on the internet. If you don't know them, look at their junk, put things. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Like, come on, that's common sense.
I think we all know that. Or obviously we don't. She didn't.
We don't.
Well, the more laws they keep changing about how things are decriminalized, like if you don't steal over $1,000, you're not going to jail. The more we make laws like that, the more people are going to be like, "Whoa, I guess I can just do anything that I want," and that's where we're going right now.
Sorry, I think that's just certain states. So I don't think all states are like that.
No, but I'm saying the more it happens, though, the more states are going to make laws like that, saying like, "Oh, it's not as bad as if you do these things." And it is. People like that need to have repercussions. They shouldn't be able to do these things.
It really shouldn't be able to be that easy to call the police on someone, post their video online. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then she really tried to make it seem like she was looking out for the community, because she's like, oh, it's a duplex. There's a house, like there's a door right next to his. What if there was a child that saw this? Like, the child is now a victim. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
The child is a victim?
Yeah.
Can we all just respect each other's right to be buck-ass naked in our own homes? Like, where the hell can we be buck-ass naked? Just let it go. Like,
listen, if I order food from Door, I wouldn't. But if I order food from anybody, and I'm standing in my front door naked, I expect you to deliver the food and not look. Like, that's just. I mean, dude, it's not only should you not be looking and coming in and doing that stuff, like you shouldn't even be looking. Just put the food down and leave.
Run.
It's none of your business, dude.
Oh man.
Like, maybe I run a nudist camp in my house.
Oh goodness.
You know, like I don't know. But then, so just crazy. 2 quick like little add-ons here. There's a photo. This is weird. There's a Florida Uber Eats driver who is now in jail because, and it ends up his wife was in the car too. He's driving, she's in the passenger seat, and they have an autistic child in the back. The autistic child, so the mom is sleeping in the passenger seat. The dad's doing a delivery for Uber Eats, and he's got more. So it's like stacked. And the kid gets out of the car. The dad gets back in the car. He's still got a couple more deliveries to go. And he notices the kid gone. That part's now out. He noticed that the kid was gone, and he went on with his deliveries. Didn't even go to look for him. Didn't even go to look for him. 2 other people found the autistic kid walking down the highway and pulled over and got him.
Yeah, but he got the stuff done. You got to give the guy credit. He's really working hard. I'm proud of him.
Right, he was on an Uber Eats bonus or something. I don't know.
This is for my subscribers. I might have forgot the groceries, but at least I didn't forget my kid.
Dude, that is just why. I mean, like the fact that now he's like, at first it was kind of like the mom's like, oh, I was asleep. I don't know. Because she was supposed to be watching him, but he was doing the deliveries. He gets back in the car. He sees the kid gone and he's just like, well, I got deliveries to do. I don't have time for this.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
I mean,
that's nuts, dude.
We joke about California a lot, guys, but that was a Florida story. So
that's
Florida, man.
Bro.
And then the last one I had, and this is another short one too. This is another very weird one. I'll just roll through it quick because I thought I was just going to roll through and it was going to be a nothing story, but I did it on the podcast and I actually got a bunch of people wanting more information on this. So, this lady from Chicago is in Atlanta on business, and she is she's staying in a hotel and she uses Uber Eats. So she made a video how she will never use Uber Eats again. She is her handle on TikTok, always TikTok, CEO of complaining, like complain and then IN complaining.
Is her name Karen?
No, it's Michelle.
Oh.
But so it says that's because she complained that her Uber Eats driver tried to forcibly hug her and follow her to her hotel room. So, but this gets so weird. I don't believe her. Now, honestly. So Michelle posted this video to her TikTok, gets 1.3 million views within a span of a day. The woman who was traveling alone thought that she would have an easygoing, safe experience using Uber Eats in Atlanta because she was in a hotel. Her delivery instructions The building she was staying in required key card entry. That meant she had to meet you at the door. So she was prepared to do that. The driver got there. She took the elevator down to go let him in the door to go get the food. As she was going down on the elevator, a man stepped in from a different floor, like he had gone to the wrong floor. And he immediately, this is even her recollection, which is just weird to me. So he turns to her and he says, "How are you doing?" This is where it all starts, and she gets freaked.
Oh no.
So
how are you doing?
she tries to ignore him. "How are you doing?" And she's trying to ignore him already. She's like, "What?" In an elevator, first of all. You're in like what is that, a 4x4? You're in a 4x4 space with a person, and "How are you doing?" And you're like, you're just turning, you're the weirdo. Okay. So
I talk to people in elevators all the time when I'm delivering food, and they love it.
But this happens to be her though. So he's there with food, and he's like, "How you doing?" And she tried to ignore him, but eventually, this is her recollection, he started to inch closer to her. As the story goes, and it's not very long, I want you all to think if when we get to the bottom here, if inching over didn't mean that he was just reaching for the floor and trying to push it or something, because he starts to inch over at her. That's when he mentioned he was trying to make a delivery for Michelle. She said, "I'm Michelle." And that led to an uncomfortable confrontation that she couldn't escape. He kept coming closer and closer until finally he hugged her.
What?
Hold on, it gets worse. So this terrified Michelle, who wasn't expecting her driver to initiate any physical contact whatsoever, when the elevator finally opened, she asked for her food. The driver then asked for a 5-star review in order to pass it to her. The man got agitated that she wouldn't do it in front of him and wasn't giving her her food. So this is all according to her. So this is the standoff. So they have a pseudo standoff, making the encounter all the more uncomfortable. Michelle ends up giving a 5-star review in order to get the food. He hands it over to her once he gets the review. Eventually, he messed with his phone and confirmed the delivery, handing her the food in the process. He briefly leaves the elevator at the lobby, and as the doors are shutting, she's just going to go back up to her room. She's not even getting out now. As the doors are shutting, he steps back on the elevator. And again, this is all according to her. So he briefly gets off the elevator. He gets back on, and he popped his hand back into the elevator to stop it, comes in, and she confronted him at this point, telling him that he cannot come up with her. He then cornered her for a second time. And if the cornering is real, I'm not laughing at it, guys. I'm just laughing because I just think this story's shit. But he then cornered her for a second time. She ended up leaving the elevator and walking to the lobby because he refused to give her space. She then entered another elevator to get back on her floor. She reports the incident to Uber. She tells the front desk they can't access the videotapes. They say that, so they're calling her through the night to make sure she's okay.
Wait, they can't access the videotapes? I was going to ask about that.
That was it was like the night audit people, you know, the $20 an hour.
But they do have
the morning.
Well, so I don't know. There's never, it hasn't been pulled, but so she mentioned that she was speaking to their AI representative about her assault.
Oh my God.
And
AI?
And called the encounter flirting, that made her feel like she was overreacting about circumstances.
What?
Leading to a negative experience overall. She wanted Uber accountability regarding her account, especially concerning it could happen to other women, and she wanted the person removed from the platform.
Oh my God, dude.
So she, on October 15th, she gets a, Michelle posted an update on her emotional state, letting her growing fan base know that Uber was conducting an investigation into the matter. Uber had her walk through the situation via phone call and suspended the driver's account immediately. This is now a week after. So this is one of those times where if none of this story happened like they say, and this guy didn't do anything, he then got deactivated a week later. He wouldn't know what the hell it's for.
Yeah.
This is going to be somebody going, why was I deactivated? What the hell? I didn't do anything today. So
camera.
But if the story was true, he would know, dude. If you're hugging,
no, but I'm saying
he would know. I mean, unless he hugs every one of his customers, and he's like,
yeah, exactly. Then it's like, which one?
Yeah, which one is this? Which one are you talking about?
Well,
That's
so
what I do with everyone. I just give him a hug. I'm a friendly guy.
So here's the end of it. A representative from Uber replied to Mary's inquiry on October 16th, her final one, letting us know they removed the driver from the platform and are investigating. They also commented on Michelle's video to let her know. Michelle updated the video to confirm the information, but I don't know. To me, this sounds so ridiculous. A guy, an Uber driver, goes into a hotel where there's a camera on 10 cameras on every hallway, and he's in the elevators, and he's making you hug him.
Yeah, that's weird.
And mysteriously, she can't get the video footage.
And why talk to AI like assistant thingy? Like you're walking to the front desk.
I thought the AI was Uber's AI.
It is Uber's AI.
Yeah, they're forced to do that. You don't have an option. You have to. That's the most ridiculous part of the story, in my opinion, is that she went to go report this. Let's just assume it's real. Okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing sounds ridiculous. There's cameras in hotels. You're going to know if this is true or not. But let's assume it's real. And she goes to complain, and you have to talk to a fucking AI, dude? Like, that's terrible, bro. And then the AI says it's just flirting. That's fucked, dude. That's really fucked, dude.
Here's my only comparison I have. And this is very strange, but about 10 years ago, I was in an elevator, and an Indian woman was in the elevator with, like, an older woman was in the elevator with me. And as soon as the elevator door closed, she grabbed my arm with both hands and squeezed it as hard as she could. And I knew she was scared. I just knew. I knew exactly what it was. And I was like, it's all right. And when it got to the third floor, she's like, oh, thank you. Like, I don't even think she realized she did it. So I'm wondering, like, was this guy reaching over to touch a floor, and she's like, quit hugging me.
Well, I'm
not hugging you. I'm
when you said he inched closer, my first thought was he said I have a delivery of food, and she didn't answer him. So then maybe he was like trying to get her attention. You know how, like, if someone's not paying attention to you and you're like, I got your food, you're not responding to me. Maybe you like go tap them on their shoulder or something, like, hey, like, is this yours? Like, maybe they.
Well, yeah, he did say, how are you doing? And she ignored him.
Right. So then he has to like get her attention some way. And maybe she thought if he was like reaching with his hand to like get her attention or like tap her on the shoulder, maybe she thought he was trying to hug her when he was just like, is this your food? Like, I'm talking to you. You're standing next to me, not answering me. Like, hey, can I get your attention? Like, that's what I thought.
Which even by her count, that's where we'll end it. Even by her count, in the very first encounter, she said his words, how are you? And she said she turned away.
Yeah, so she gave Donnelly in her own story. She's trying to get free food. I'm calling it. She's trying to get free food. That's it.
I mean, who does that though? Like, if you're
CEO
in an elevator,
of complaining does that. That's
I think most people would be so uncomfortable by not saying hi, how you doing, and then ignoring them. To just ignoring them. It's so much worse to ignore someone in an elevator that talks to you.
It's such a tiny space.
Just get it over with. Be like, great, how are you? And then, like, that's it. You don't have to go into a full-on conversation, but at least recognize them once to let them know, all right, I see you.
And even if he didn't have a hot bag, didn't she notice the food?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, if you're waiting for your food, she said she's gonna go down there and let him in, and she's in the elevator with him. Why don't you just be like, oh, is that mine? I can take it. You can go back. It's like, why are you in the elevator with him?
Because that's my thought too. Is maybe she actually is one of the few who used a real picture, and he's sitting there looking at it, going, "That's her."
I know what it is. Because if she's trying to get free food and she acknowledged him and that he has her food, she can't pretend she didn't see it. She can't pretend that she didn't find it. If she acknowledges it, she can't go forward with her weird narrative.
Dude, why
So,
can't
so
people
then
just
to
be
get her
fucking
free
normal?
food, she had to twist the whole story to ruin the guy's life and get him deactivated and make a whole thing on her CEO of complaining.
Yeah,
Again,
she's
it's
done
not
that.
looking good for you women. It's not looking good.
I know, right? Tonight's not a great night.
I'm making
Honestly, I'm hoping that, like, as unfortunate as it is, I'm hoping that it's not an exaggeration, because then whatever, she deserves whatever justice she'll get. If this is an exaggeration, it's not okay, because the guy now is deactivated.
Yeah.
They would have already come out with the cameras and stuff, though, right? Like the hotel would have made a statement like, okay, this happened, blah, blah, or something like that. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem feasible that there's no evidence of this.
Well, it says it says Uber's looking into it. Maybe Uber's pulling the film. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I'd like, if I owned the hotel, I'd be like, yeah, Uber, get your warrant and I'll give you your footage. But I'm putting out the news on this. Hey, we looked at the footage. Nothing weird happened. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care.
This is why young men are not approaching women anymore, by the way. Like
exactly
at the bar or
women
on the
find
street
anybody.
to like say hi to them or something, because they're all scared that
This is why women are going on TikTok bitching about not getting catcalled anymore.
Yep. No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's a real thing. Guys are not, they're not even like the speed. I've seen videos of like women going to speed dating and it's like 5 women are there and no one else. Like no guys showed up, because like men are literally terrified of going up to women and like saying anything. Like the woman's gonna be like, yes, you SA'd me. Like, I don't know. Like, you tried hugging me.
I hate it.
Yeah. We need a better sample size out there. People who have TikTok channels who do the opposite of the stuff we talked about here tonight. Like, show us some good women who are like, no, we're not all like that. And here's our brigade coming. Like,
there are some channels like that. There's some good influencers that are women that are fighting against it. Yeah,
they really are.
Good.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But you guys, thanks for joining. Thanks, Daniel, for being here these 3 weeks. Thanks all the panelists. Thank you all for joining, watching live or on the replay. And until next week, be safe, earn smart, and peace out.
Stay positive.
Be kind.
Yes.